Japan makes me scared. Konbanwa minasan. Welcome back to another episode of Japan Makes Me Scared. I am Junpei, your host, and I'm gonna share various horror and scary stories of Kaidan in this podcast. Well, it's been a while since the last episode, but how are you? I've been not too bad, and I hope you're doing great as well. Anyway, today I'm back with a rather special story, because it'll be spread over several episodes. Like many of the stories I tell you, this one comes from 2chan, the Japanese message board website. The thing is, the story is so long, so if I tell the story at once, it will take a couple of hours. Maybe that's why there are not many people who talk about the story. At least, I haven't spotted many. Actually, I forgot this story for a long time as well. Even though I read that before and I kinda like it, it was like more than 10 years ago, when I was still a student. And it's completely gone from my memory, ever since. Then it was just a few weeks ago, when I was having a chat with my wife, and she mentioned a Japanese anime called Corpse Party. Have you heard of that? For those who haven't, the story is about some kids getting trapped in school in a parallel world after they did some kind of ritual. Then a lot of spooky things happen where they're trying to go back to the original world, something like that. Anyway, I've never watched that anime, so I can't really tell you more about the details, but that story kind of opened the door for my memory. Then I remembered that story from 2chan that I forgot for a while, because of some similarities. That's the background I'm making this episode. So today's story takes place in a small countryside village, and our main characters are a group of elementary school children. And there's gonna be a lot of going on with their dreams, history of the village, and the children play. Does this sound interesting to you? Hope it does, because from my side, it took some time for the preparation. This story is super long, which means a lot of translation and organization work. So I really hope you like it, as much as I do. Alright, let's move on to the storytelling part. Episode 48, Yumeoni, Part 1. This story was originally posted on 2chan in 2007. Yumeoni is composed of two kanjis, the Japanese letters. Yume means dream, and Oni means demon. The story will be told from the viewpoint of a boy who was an elementary school student at the time. And it goes with his friends and other people around in a small village in the Japanese countryside. Anyway, we can call the boy Sho, and I will describe I as Sho from here for convenience. Hey, do you know about Yumeoni? It all started with that simple question. At the time, I was in 5th grade. I was just an ordinary boy in elementary school. As usual, I was hanging out in the classroom after school with my close friends. There were 4 boys, A, B, C, and me, Sho. And 3 girls, D, E, and F. That was a squad. We 7 were always together. On that day, as we were chatting quietly, D suddenly interrupted us. Hey, do you know about Yumeoni? Immediately, the mood changed, and no one was smiling anymore. Yumeoni? Isn't it that scary old story? Everyone knows that. When I misbehaved, my mother threatened me with Yumeoni. Yeah, same at my house. In my region, Yumeoni is a scary story that has been passed down from generation to generation. But all I knew was that horrible oni, which means demons in Japanese, would appear in dreams. But even so, when I was little, just thinking about it terrified me. So, what happens to this Yumeoni? E asked timidly. But honestly, I was going to ask D about the same question anyway, if he didn't. Because even when we talk about scary stories, we usually avoid saying its name. Just saying Yumeoni was enough to get you scolded. And my parents had forbidden me to say it. You know, children weren't supposed to talk about it. So naturally, I wanted to know why they had brought it up. And so did everyone. No, I know what Yumeoni really is. With that, D proudly took out a piece of paper and an old photo. Both are dirty and damaged. What are they? Asked A. It's about Yumeoni. I found it stuck between some books the last time I went to the library. There was also this photo. Apparently, they had discovered the paper and photo by chance. Our village is roughly divided into 3 neighborhoods. The library she often went to is right in the center. It's the only library in the village, and they loved reading. So she spent almost all her free time there. Pointing to the paper, D began to explain. Well, first of all, Yumeoni means playing tug in your dream. An oni is there from the beginning of a dream, and everyone has run away to avoid getting caught. Then, whoever gets caught becomes oni. And it goes on like that until there's only one person left. After hearing that, everyone burst out laughing. Play tag in your dreams? Seriously? You dream alone, so it's not possible. It felt so absurd compared to what we had imagined, so we couldn't stop laughing. And simple came of tag in a dream. If it makes you laugh, then you're not afraid of trying it for real, right? Said D, a little offended. Hey, slow down, okay? But even if we wanted to, how would we do it? We can't all have the same dream, can we? Replied B. D ignored the interruption and continued. If we follow the steps, it can work. Look, it's written on the paper. Then she looked on and began to read the instruction on the paper. There were 5 steps in there. Step 1. Decide where to play tug. Step 2. Prepare something that can be used to identify the location you have decided on. This can be anything with an address written on it, such as a photo. As long as it can be identified, it is fine. Step 3. All participants have the items that can be used for identification. Step 4. Write your name on the back of the items. Make sure to write your name in something that cannot be easily erased. You must write your own name yourself. Step 5. At midnight, place the items under your pillow and say, Yumeoni-san, Yumeoni-san, please play tag with me. And then close your eyes. That's all the paper said. What? That's it? I thought it would be much more complicated than that, said C, looking interested. Did you see that? It's super simple, said D, smiling broadly. I think we can do that, It could be fun. Let's try. But would everyone really play along? What if some of us chickened out at the last minute and backed out? When it was time to go to bed, everyone would be at home. So, how can we make sure everyone's doing it for sure? A spoke up. Could be a bit scared, but looked like trying to act cool. Actually, I have an idea. They replied immediately. The school sleepover next week. We'll be all there, in the same room. Then no one can chicken out or cheat. No excuses. That's true. At our school, starting 5th grade, we organized an annual sleepover event. We would prepare dinner together, play games, and in the evening, there would be a campfire on the school field. It was one of the events I'd been looking forward to the most since I was little. Okay, no problem. Let's try it. It sounds fun. In fact, it was first night we were all gonna sleep together. Just the thought of trying this Yumeoni game had me super excited. So it's a done deal. That place will be our school. After all, is the one in the photo. Dee added with a big smile. I prepared a copy of this photo for each of us. Dee seemed really motivated, ready to take care of all the preparations. Then, suddenly, F, who had been silent until then, spoke up. The school in the photo? That's not our school, is it? It's a secondary school in the next village. I've seen it before. That's right. I also remembered it was a second school in the next village. I've seen it several times myself, so there was no doubt about it. And when we look at the back of the photo, hey, there's a name written on it. Which probably meant someone already played Yumeoni before us. I can't wait. You better be there, everyone. A said with a mocking smile. And D, make sure your parents don't get in the photo. I know, replied D confidently. Maybe our parents know the true nature of Yumeoni already. Who knows? But don't worry, I make sure they don't find anything. From then on, we counted down the days. We were all looking forward to the sleepover. And finally, the big night arrived. As we were all in the same class, we slept in the same room. It was a bit strange to see boys and girls sleeping together, but after all, we're only elementary school kids, so nothing to worry about. When it was time for bed, we slipped into our futons and pretended to be asleep. Then, just before midnight, without waking the others, we all quietly slipped into Dee's futon. Then Dee whispered, Come on, let's start Yumeoni. First, the photo. Don't forget to write your name on the back. So all 7 of us wrote our names on the back of the photo with a permanent marker. Then each of us slipped it under our pillow. Midnight was approaching, and at that time, I had no idea of the horror that was to follow. For us, it was just a game, and a curiosity, nothing more. Anyway, the time had come. All together, we recited in a low voice. Yumeoni-san, please play tag with me. Then we closed our eyes. That's how we started our first Yumeoni. Where am I? It is terribly dark. Ah! Suddenly, my foot sunk into something cold. It was a toilet, an old-fashioned toilet, like a squat one you barely see nowadays in Japan. Oh no, seriously? I immediately took my feet off the toilet and opened the door. In front of me was a corridor. Above the door was a sign, boys' toilet. That view was familiar to me. It was our school. We'd done it finally. We had really started Yumeoni. But why is it so dark here? And why is it so quiet? Is our school always this gloomy at night? No, something is wrong. And above all, where's everyone gone? With this worry in mind, I began to walk through the night school. At that moment, I heard footsteps coming down the stairs. Who's there? I shouted nervously. Then a voice answered me. Ah, I'm not alone. It was E. Ah, it's you. Have you met anyone else? I asked, relieved. No, you're the first person I've seen, she replied, lowering her voice. But is this really a dream? It's creepy. Yeah, it's way too realistic for a dream. But this school, the whole atmosphere is completely different, right? Where were you at the beginning? I came from the boys' toilet. I was in the corridor on the second floor, and when I came down, I just found you. Apparently, we've been scattered to different places. That meant the others must be somewhere in the school. Right, we need to find everyone else first, I whispered. And above all, don't make any noise. There could be a noni lurking around. Yeah, I know, right? Replied E. But you were the one screaming earlier, weren't you? Well, the past is past, okay? From now on, we keep quiet. Then E and I began to move forward, quietly. Can I be honest here? I was scared, and I could feel it. Yumeoni, maybe it wasn't just a game after all. And I already regretted starting this, but E must have been even more scared than me. So I had to grit my teeth and be a man. As we walked in silence, E whispered in my ear, Hey, Oni, what do you think that is exactly? In the instruction, it says Oni has been there since the beginning. That means it's not us, right? I think so, yeah. There should be Oni already here. I mean, somewhere in the school. I don't want to get caught by, something I don't even know. Yeah, me too. With that silent decision in mind, we continued to move forward through the dark school. As we walked, we finally reached the entrance. I rushed towards the door, thinking, maybe we can get out. I tried to open it. Impossible. It's not moving. I tried the window in the corridor as well. None of them opened either. Everything was locked. I grabbed the fire extinguisher from near the door and I tried to break the windows down. But nothing. They didn't budge an inch. No, it won't break. I turned back to E. Maybe we're stuck. At those words, E started to cry. Obviously, she had never been very enthusiastic about playing this game in the first place. She had just gone along with it, without really wanting to participate. I crouched down next to her, Don't worry. We can leave after the game of tug. Come on, let's do our best, okay? He sniffed and nodded. Yeah, just a game, right? Just a dream, after all. Why am I crying? Little by little, she calmed down. Yes, it's just a dream. A dream that will end when we wake up. Even if the game isn't over, so no need to panic. That's what I thought, until I heard footsteps echoing in the hallway, in the distance. Footsteps getting closer, slow and heavy. Someone's coming. One of the others, or a noni. Oh no. When I tried to break the window earlier, I made too much noise. Anyway, we had to do something. Come on, let's hide. It could be our friend, or a noni. We'll wait and see if it's someone we know. Okay, whispered he. So we rushed into a small container with some cleaning supplies next to the entrance. There were gaps in the door through which we could see outside. Thanks to the moonlight filtering through the windows, the entrance was kind of brighter than the rest of the building, so we could make out shapes, at least. Footsteps getting closer. I held my breath, and then I saw it. A figure was approaching the entrance. I was about to scream, but I covered my mouth with my hand just in time. He did the same, trembling beside me. The footsteps were getting closer. It wasn't them. Or was even a human. He had a human shape, yes, but his entire body was jet black. In the darkness of the hallway, we might not have noticed anything, but with the lack of the pale moonlight, we could see it. It was getting closer and closer. Then the figure stopped, right in front of the container where we hide in. I thought I caught his eyes, but they weren't ray eyes finally. How would I describe them? They were just hollow, empty holes in the darkness. It was as if only the area around his eyes wasn't solid, just gaping sockets as big as fists. It was standing there, just a few inches away from us. What is that? I was speechless with terrified, just terrified. Then suddenly, "Hey, is anyone there?" A voice echoed in the distance. The figure turned around quickly and dashed in the direction of the voice. It all happened in a second, but for me, it felt like forever. My body was covered in sweat, and not just sweat. I was so scared that I had wet myself. But don't make fun of me. I was just an elementary school kid, and you'll be as scared as me even if you're adults. Anyway, while I was scared, I was still a bit sensible as well. I whispered, panting, stay hidden. Not yet. He might come back." He nodded without a word. She was also too terrified to speak. There was no doubt about it. It was him. The only in this dream. We were trapped in a nightmare. I just wanted to wake up. Please, let me wake up soon. I stayed crouched in the container, begging for help. Suddenly, a scream pierced the night. "Ah, No, don't come near me. Stay away. No, no, no. Someone was screaming somewhere in the building. Who was it? Maybe one of us had just been called. But I wanted to believe that it was nothing. That it wasn't Oni. That it was just someone else. A classmate. That's what I forced myself to think. Okay, we can come out now. E and I timidly crawled out of the container. Everything seemed calm, no one in sight. In that container, the heat had become unbearable. And then, the smell. Because in my accident, the air was unbreathable as well. I was exhausted. He also looked terrible. We crouched on the floor, unable to move. Well, to be honest, my legs had simply given way. What was that thing? I whispered. It was nothing like the Oni we had imagined, right? Thank God it's only a dream. Yeah, sobbed E. I don't like this. I just want to wake up. I don't want to play tug anymore. She clung to me, crying, her face covered in tears. Then I felt ashamed for myself. She was even more scared than I was. Why did I not think about that? I had to pull myself together. So I took a deep breath and said softly, "It'll be okay. We'll wake up eventually." And anyway, someone must have been already caught by him. That means that mine is not Oni anymore. It'll be okay. Clumsy was, but it was all I could see at the time. And it was better than nothing, wasn't it? Anyway, we reluctantly got up and resumed our exploration. Okay, I didn't know who the next Oni would be, but that's not the point now. I just wanted to run into someone I knew. Anyone, it didn't matter who. With that thought in mind, I kept moving forward. At that point, I knew it was best to avoid certain classrooms, because if something jumped out, we could get trapped. So silently, I took the lead, step by step, slowly, with E behind me. We climbed the stairs and reached the second floor. Then, I wonder if he got caught. He was screaming so loud. I don't understand anything. What is this thing? We could hear voices nearby. We froze first, but cautiously, I approached to see where it was coming from. In a dim light, I recognized them. It was B and D. Hey guys, are you alright? I asked as I approached. B jumped. Oh, it's you. Are you okay? Wait, your trousers wet? What happened? No, honestly, I'm not fine. And please don't say anything about my trousers. I took a deep breath, trying to regain my composure. Anyway, where were you two at the beginning? B replied, at first, I was in the music room. Then I walked a little further, and I ran into D. Then D continued, I was in the science room, then I went out into the hallway to look for the others. And that's when I ran into A-kun. She lowered her voice a little. Then I found B. And when A-kun started screaming all by himself, looking for everyone, we panicked. So we left him behind and ran away. At these words, D fell silent, looking ashamed. So B spoke up for her. You don't look well. What happened? And your trousers? Something happened, didn't it? Come on, tell us. So E and I told them everything that had happened. We explained what Oni really looked like, that we couldn't leave the school, and also that our screams had probably attracted Oni. After hearing all, B turned pale. Seriously? So A got caught by that weird thing? I'm sick of this stupid game. I never wanted to do it anyway. D, it's your fault. B turned furiously at D and yelled at her. On the verge of tears, she replied, I didn't think it would end like this, and we're all really excited, right? Are we not? I'm scared now too. I want this to stop. B and D started arguing, getting louder and louder. Do you feel what I feel? This wasn't good. If they kept shouting like that, Oni would hear us, and he wouldn't miss us. Hey, you two, stop it. I raised my voice just enough to cover the arguing. There's no point in fighting here, and if you keep shouting like that, Oni will find us. And we're not even sure if it got caught in the first place. I took a deep breath and nodded. And anyway, it's just a dream. So when we wake up, it will be over anyway. B and D look at each other for a moment, then lower their heads. Sorry, they whispered, almost in unison. Silence fell again. A heavy silence, but at least it was calm. Good. I'm still holding on, but how long can I keep this up? Of course, I was scared. Everyone was scared. But when E approached timidly and said, "Thank you, Shaw," those simple words warmed my heart. Now there were four of us sticking together. And even if A had been turned into a noni, it would still be less scary than that black thing we had seen earlier. With that thought to reassure us, we set off again. All four of us moving slowly forward in the darkness. Then we could hear someone was running. Who could it be? Was it A? Or someone else? Or maybe Oni had heard our voices earlier. We all stopped, froze in place, listening intently. The corridor was plunged into darkness, so we could hardly see anything without the moonlight. I crouched down quietly, trying to stay as hidden as possible, and waited. The footsteps grew louder and louder. It was getting closer, but still no sign of anyone. My throat was dried, my heart was pounding. And finally, in the darkness, someone appeared. Whoa, what is that thing? It's him again. It's not A. Run, everyone, run. The moment we saw him, we all ran away. You know, we had no choice. It was him. Him again. That jet black figure and those empty eyes. Fear overwhelmed me all at once. I started running with all my might. Not looking back, never. I was so scared that my body refused to turn around. I ran and ran until I was out of breath. I didn't know how long I had run for. At one point, without even thinking, I pushed open the door to the classroom. I couldn't go on. I couldn't breathe. My legs gave way. Then I collapsed on the spot. And the others? Where are they? Did we all get separated? Looking around, I just realized I was on the third floor. I had run as fast as I could to get here, without even realizing it. I couldn't hear any footsteps anymore. Good. So I probably managed to escape. Then I tried to calm my breathing, but another thought immediately crossed my mind. Where are the others? Did they get caught? But wait, not now. This is not the time to think about that. Focus, for now. I just have to get my strength back. Breathe, stay calm. I felt selfish, a bit, but I didn't have any room for worrying about the others. Not now. I was busy enough trying to survive myself. So I took a deep breath again and tried to calm down. But my legs were still shaking. It took me a while to regain control, and when my legs finally stopped shaking, I looked around. It was a home economics room, so I thought there must be something useful here. I cautiously opened a drawer under the sink. Inside, a kitchen knife. Of course, as I expected. In a home economics room, there should be knives for cooking classes. So I clutched the weapon in my hand. If he ever comes back. Just thinking about it made my throat tighten. It's just a dream. But why is it so real? It's just a dream. Just a dream. I repeated this phrase to myself like a mantra, and it's a game of talk as well. If he catches me, he'll just kill me. So before that happens, I'll have to kill him. Even at my age, even in elementary school, these dark thoughts crossed my mind. Anyway, what should I do now? Hide here? Or look for the others? Hiding seems safer, but staying alone in this room? No, I didn't want to. The room was dark and silent, and the only sound I could hear was my own breathing. And I couldn't turn on the lights either. If I did, it would be the end of me. I had no other choice but stay in the dark. I looked out the window almost reflexively. From there, I could see the windows of the hallway on the other side of the courtyard. Thanks to the moonlight, everything was faintly visible. Huh? Someone was running? Oh no. Someone was running away as fast as they could. It was C. But was he alone? While I was getting closer to the window for a better view, instinctively, I pressed myself against the wall, out of sight of the window. Just before I looked away, I caught a glimpse of him. That silhouette, illuminated by the moonlight, was as black as pitch. C was being chased by it. That thing is still there. Could B and D and E have already been caught? But no, wait. One of them would have become Oni then, right? So it means no one's been caught yet. I was starting to think it was strange. With all this time that had passed, someone should have been caught long ago. What time is it now? It's been a while since we started. Then I turned to the clock hanging in the home economics room. What? The clock hadn't moved. Still midnight. Is it just this clock here that's broken? But what a strange coincidence if that is. We had started this Yumeoni at midnight, and the clock had stopped at exactly midnight too. A horrible thought crossed my mind. What if this night never ended? I had hoped that everything would be better when morning came, but maybe it was impossible now. I should get out of this room. I can't stay alone anymore. Saying these words to myself, I slowly caught my breath. Then I clenched the knife in my right hand and I left the home economics room. I want to meet someone. I don't want to be alone. But what if I ran into him instead? But I had no choice. As I walked down the corridor, I realized something. I could see better than before. Not because it was lighter, my eyes had simply adjusted to the darkness. And that's how I was able to recognize B&D earlier. But that black silhouette, I still have to be careful, because it blended into the shadows. So I wouldn't be able to make it out until it gets very close. Now I knew every time I heard footsteps, I had to assume it was him. Come closer, and I'm done for. With that thought engraved in my mind, I moved forward cautiously, checking each classroom one by one. Nothing here. No one there either. Not here either. I really wanted to find someone, quickly. The anxiety grew inside me with every door I opened. Still alone, still that heavy silence. Then, as I reached classroom 6-3, footsteps again. Then I froze. Maybe it's him. Without thinking, I rushed into the classroom. But immediately, oh no, if I get spotted here, I'm screwed up. But what's done is done. Now, all I can do is don't panic, stay hidden, and don't move. Because he could be just right there, behind the door. So I just had to wait for the footsteps to fade away. As I held my breath, I suddenly heard a noise. Close by, from the container where the cleaning products were stored. Is someone there? Is it him? My heart was beating so hard as I was imagining the worst, but I decided to approach the container as quietly as possible. I was still clutching the knife in my right hand, so if it was him, I would stab him right there. I was so ready. Then I opened the container door. It's you, Sho. Finally, it was E. She let out a little cry of fear when she saw me. She looked completely exhausted. Sorry, yeah, it's just me, I said softly, trying to reassure her. Then, in a low voice, what happened to B&D? Weren't you together? Yes, the three of us ran to the first floor, but he was chasing us. She wiped her eyes awkwardly. Then I thought he was going to catch me. And then B did it to D-chan. Her voice broke. What happened to D? What happened? I asked gently. E lowered her head, her voice trembling. B, he grabbed D-chan and used her as a shield. D-chan was screaming. She was screaming really loud at the moment. But B just left. He just abandoned D-chan and ran away. A long silence fell. So, D and B were caught? I asked. I don't know. I just took advantage of the chaos to run away. I just left them behind. But, no, I was just scared. I looked at her, unable to find the words right away. No one would blame me. I would have done the same. Hearing this, he burst into tears. It was no surprise. Seeing her friends in danger so close, and yet choosing to run away, the guilt must have been unbearable. At that moment, a sharp noise. A door had just opened. What? It sounded like someone was opening doors, one by one. Again, and this time, closer. He's getting closer. No doubt about it. Whoever was opening the doors was slowly advancing towards us. If I were out now, I would inevitably bump into someone. But who? A friend? Or him? Very close. Almost there. No, if it keeps going like this, he'll come in here in a minute. I turned to E, speaking in a low voice, almost a whisper. E, listen to me carefully. I'm gonna leave this classroom. Because if we stay here, we'll be spotted, both of us. Maybe it's not him, but I don't know. So I have to go and check for myself. No, he's dangerous. Let's stay here together, protested E, her voice trembling. Then I replied softly, but what if it's him? And you're not very fast, are you? You wouldn't be able to get away in time. And I clenched the knife in my hand and continued. And anyway, if he does come, I've got this, so I'll be fine. I smiled at her to reassure her, even though I wasn't so sure myself. I'll come back, I promise, so please wait here for me. E nodded, her eyes filled with fear. Okay, I understand, but come back soon, promise me. Yes, I promise. With those words, I left the classroom. The hallway seemed deserted, but I froze. Two doors down, something was coming out of the classroom. In the pale moonlight, I saw him. The black silhouette. It's him, without a doubt. Run, run. In my head, the voice echoed, but my legs wouldn't move. It was like fear pinned me to the spot. Move, move, move. Finally, my legs gave way and I ran away. But he was right behind me. He's gonna catch me. When I turned the corner, I stopped. Then I gripped my knife with both hands. And then he turned the corner. I stabbed him with all my strength. Fear had almost emptied my mind, but it was slowly coming back again. I fell to my knees, super exhausted. The knife also slipped from my hands, falling to the ground with a sharp clang. My arms were shaking, but I got him. I killed him. I won. Oh, Shimai, for the first part. Thank you very much for listening. How'd you find it so far? It was getting more and more tense, wasn't it? But it's just part 1. This is only the beginning. The next part will be coming very soon. I've already started working on that, so please be patient for a bit. And in the meantime, if you feel like discussing it or sharing your thoughts on this, you're welcome to join my Discord channel. I'm gonna leave the link in the description, so please join. and enjoy the interaction if you would. And if you enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe. This podcast, Japan Makes Me Scared, is available on all popular podcast platforms like Spotify, Apple, YouTube, or Amazon Music. So hit the follow or like button on the app of your choice. That would be a huge motivation for me, for sure. Alright, I'll leave you here now. I quite enjoyed the recording with acting, so my throat is after rest, right? But before I leave, let me say one thing. Arigatou gozaimasu, again, for listening to my podcast, Japan Makes Me Scared, and sayonara for more chilled and furious next time. Bye!